Well, it's finally here. The last episode of The Acolyte is finally upon us. And let me tell you, it just keeps getting dumber and dumber with each episode. And this episode is definitely the worst. This is definitely the dumbest episode of Star Wars, period. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another video here on the channel. And today I'm talking about The Acolyte, episode 8, the season finale, and what should be the series finale. Let's hope we don't get a season 2 of this garbage. So, what do I think? The episode starts off where the previous episode left, with Osha trying on Kamir's helmet. I don't get how this helmet could cause this reaction, and if it's supposed to block force abilities, then I don't know how they're using the force through it. I don't know how this helmet works, but let's move on because that's the least of our concerns in this episode. In the next scene, we get Saul chasing May as she's trying to escape to her home planet, because that's where they're all going to be headed to. Basil, this creature, or Basil, I don't know how to say his name, but he just flips on a dime. I know it was just about time for this character to do that, because every character does that in this show for some reason, because none of their motivations make sense. So for some reason, this creature sabotages Saul's chase of May. Why would he do this, considering he would die too if this ship crashes? Why would he sabotage himself? Does he have no sense of self-preservation? Because this is dumb. All right, here's the first really dumb thing in this episode. This creature. All right, moving on. We see that a senator is talking to Vernestra Rwoh, trying to get to the bottom of the Jedi's investigation. He suspects the Jedi have too much power, and he wants a little more oversight, which makes sense, a little bit. We can see they're trying to plant the seeds for the prequel trilogy, and everything here is okay. There's nothing wrong about these scenes featuring Vernestra and her political ideations. Let's talk about some more good in this episode. The fight scene. The fight scenes in this episode are top-notch. They're really good, especially the one with Saul versus Kamir. This is a really good fight scene. There's one part where Kamir splits his red lightsaber in two and throws him, and then Saul does this force barrier. It's really cool. These are really good fight scenes. Unfortunately, though, the end of this fight scene is ended by something really dumb. Alright? We're up to 2, if you're keeping track. So, Kamir has a chance to kill Saul here. All he has to do is push his lightsaber into Saul's face, and then he wins the duel. But he doesn't do that. Instead, he pulls the lightsaber towards himself, which doesn't really make sense as far as sword choreography goes. What's going on here? Like, if you slow it down, I think you'll realize what I'm talking about. This lightsaber combat makes no sense. But before this happened, it was all cool. It was amazing. This was some top-notch prequel level Star Wars combat right here. While all this is going on, Osha and May kind of switch sides. May turns to the light side, and Osha joins the dark side, even bleeding her lightsaber red. Well, it was really Saul's lightsaber. It bleeds from blue to red in a pretty cool scene. I really like this scene. I already knew about the whole lightsaber bleeding concept, and I really like the concept as opposed to red lightsabers just being red kyber crystals or synthetic kyber crystals. And then Vernestra Rwoh brings a bunch of Jedi to investigate. And I think this is bad direction in this one scene where she asks the Jedi to split up and check the perimeter. Because in this scene, she orders the Jedi to go in separate directions. But if you actually pay attention to the episode, what they really do is they all follow Basil. This is just bad direction. Because if they're supposed to be forming a perimeter, they're supposed to all be going in different directions. That's just a nitpick, but that's another dumb thing in this episode. I guess that's number 3. I know I skipped some, but there's a lot in this episode, and I don't have time for all that. Dumb thing number 4. Darth Plagueis is in this episode. Yeah, Darth Plagueis. What does he do? Absolutely nothing. What is he good for? Absolutely nothing. Not in this show, because all he does is sit and watch in one scene, and that's it. He appears like in the middle of the episode. And for the rest of the episode, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, all right, when is Darth Plagueis going to show up and kill everybody or do something? But no, that doesn't happen. There's just one shot of him observing, and that's it. We don't get to see any more of him. And I feel like that's a big missed opportunity. Honestly, it could have given this episode a few points. I wouldn't go as far as saying he would redeem this episode if he actually did something, but at least this episode would be more interesting than what we got, because the writing on May and Osha switching places is terrible. I don't believe it for a second that Osha would switch to the dark side so suddenly. Her motivations just aren't there. We don't feel her motivations. I can tell that's the biggest weakness of the writers of this show. That is definitely their biggest weakness, is making sure our characters have clear motivations and they follow those motivations. Or maybe they're just trying to subvert expectations. But that doesn't work when you subvert expectations every episode to where you don't know what the hell's going on with these characters. What is their mindset? Because they keep changing it every episode. Just terrible writing. Just terrible writing. It's booty cheeks, goatsy, trash, doo-doo shit. It's bad. This show is just bad. And it feels anticlimactic too. Mainly because we don't get to see Darth Plagueis do anything. And the fight with Saul and Emir, that was a cool fight. But it doesn't have the sense of finality that it's supposed to have. And I get the feeling that the reason it doesn't have such a feeling of finality is because they're expecting a season 2. And I really hope that doesn't happen. I really hope they don't squander Yoda. Because, oh yeah, he has a cameo at the end with Vernestra Rwoh coming to him for advice. But anyway, there's one last thing that I wanted to talk about. They pin all of the crimes on Jedi Master Saul. Man, they really butchered this man's character. He was the best actor in the show. He was the best part of the show. But as the episodes went on and things got dumber and dumber, Saul just turned into what basically amounts to a creep. They just turned Saul into a creep, and then they kill him and call him a villain. And he's supposed to be the Jedi that we're rooting for. He's supposed to be our model Jedi for this show. But he turns out to be the worst character in the end. The reason I think Jedi Master Saul is a creep is because he barely knows Osha and May. Especially when he first meets them. He doesn't know these girls. Why is he so obsessed with them? You're supposed to be a Jedi, a professional. So why are you so obsessed? It's just weird. But at least Saul's death and Vernestra Rwoh lying about it, at least that makes it so the Phantom Menace isn't retconned. Not really, because the Sith don't get revealed. So the Sith have been extinct for a millennia still holds true. That's still a true statement from Ki-Adi-Mundi. Ki-Adi-Mundi doesn't look like a complete moron anymore, which is good. You don't want to step on the original works. You don't want to make the original Jedi from actual George Lucas written Star Wars. You don't want them to seem like dumbasses. But the Jedi in this show are dumbasses. They should just change the name of this show to Jedi Do Dumb Things. But that's pretty much it. That's all I've had to say. That's all of my frustrations for this episode. This terrible, terrible episode. Let me know what you think in the comments below. What you thought about this episode. Do you think this is going to get a season 2? Do you hope it will get a season 2? And like and hit that bell icon. Everything. Share this video. Very important. I might make a full review of the series. I might not. I'm trying to get into making longer videos more instead of just shorts, which are really funny. Go check those out. But that's it. Have a good one. See ya. Drink some water. Bye.